Speaking of young folks, we have a GOP debate tomorrow night. And as more and more young voters start to really pay attention to what's going on in politics, I thought it would be a heck of a lot of fun to talk this morning with political strategist and commentator for Young Voices. Victoria Churchill is on the Davidson Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Welcome to the Max and Amy Show, Victoria.
Thank you guys so much for having me on this morning. Great to be on with you.
Good morning. I want to know what you young voters, you young voices are looking to hear. What do you want to hear in the GOP debate tomorrow night?
Well, for me, I definitely do want somebody that's going to talk about the economy. Obviously, I heard you guys were just talking about folks living in, moving back in with their parents. Personally, I haven't lived at home since 2 weeks after I graduated high school. But look, here's the thing. I have friends that have great jobs. They went to college. They got bachelor's degrees. They have jobs that, are pretty aspirational for people. But at least where I personally live in the D.C. metro area, cost of living is going up exponentially. Mm-hmm. And folks, some of my very close friends are being forced to move back in with their parents, 5-6 years after graduation. And I don't think that's something any of us planned for, any of us wanted. But, if you live by yourself and your rent goes up $400, what else do you do?
Well, you're right. Yeah. I mean, it's a reality, and it's a hard reality because I guarantee a large percentage, as you said, really would prefer not to have to do that. So what can these candidates get up to the podium and speak their mind tomorrow night? What can they do to help this problem, according to your thoughts?
Well, I think personally interest rates, that's something that I'm looking at. I personally have been married about a year and a half. My husband and I have been looking at getting our foot on the property ladder, at least for a entry-level property for the past couple of years. But, a mortgage payment, the interest rate has gone up, say, from 3% to 7.5% in real dollars. Those percents amount to about an extra $1,000 more than you would be paying in a mortgage just compared to 2 years ago. And obviously just being in the first few years of our career, we're always striving to kind of get to that next salary band, but it's like you take 2 steps forward and then because of the economy, you're taking really 3 steps back despite that number on your paycheck getting bigger.
Yeah, the economy has not been very forgiving to, fresh graduates or even fresh couples because everything does change so much. Beyond the economy, what are some other hot topics that younger voters are really concerned about?
For me personally, another one that I look at is immigration. My husband and I are both immigrants, and, for my family, it took us 11 years to get citizenship. For him, it was about 4 after he came over for college, graduated, proved that he could be a serving member of society here in the States. And, for me, again, especially in an economy like this, it seems like the federal government, the Biden administration, some, liberal coastal cities are prioritizing folks that come here illegally over their own citizens. And, I think some folks are definitely getting fed up with that. Even on the Democrat side, right, we have people like the mayor of New York or even the governor of New York State calling, for, state of emergency in the city due to the migrant influx. And the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, is calling up the National Guard to deal with the migrant crisis. So, I think it's definitely time for us as a country to start prioritizing our own citizens again. And to me personally, that means shutting down the border and making sure that only people that want to come here and be beneficial members of society get to come and not folks that want to be a drag on the rest of the taxpayers.
Victoria, another quick question. I mean, I think that is fascinating, especially the fact that you come from a migrant portion. Do you think that people are interested in staying in the party lines, or are they looking at all the candidates, or do you think they're voting mostly on party lines?
Well, obviously, we've got to get through the primaries. Some states have open primaries, some states have closed primaries. Obviously, in Iowa, you guys have the caucus coming up just in a few short months. So, to vote in a party caucus, folks do have to be registered within that party. So at least for now, I think people are either going with the party that they know or if they're an unaffiliated voter, they might be staying out of it. But I will tell you, I personally actually worked in Iowa for 14 months in the 2020 campaign cycle. And one thing that we focused a lot on was voter registration, because data that we had at the time showed us that if you registered somebody to vote with your party, they were 88% more likely to actually vote for one of your candidates. So it was basically a one-to-one guarantee of if you registered somebody to vote for a Republican, they're probably going to turn out to vote, especially as somebody that had never been registered to vote before.
All right, Victoria, thank you so much. We're running out of time here. It's a great conversation. I hope we can have you back again sometime.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Victoria Churchill, Young Voices. It's 7 o'clock news time, News Radio 1040 WHO.